you for joining us on this wonderfully cold day that we have today. I'd like to joke that I think Virginia is a little confused at the moment and saying that it's March.
We're always confused.
Yeah. So we're just going to talk a little bit about this firearm here. It's a Brown Bess flintlock musket. Go a little bit of detail how this weapon works, and of course shoot it off. So, I mean, you're welcome to check it out, get well acquainted with it.
Oh yeah.
All I ask is if I'm handling a firearm.
We got to have this for the NRA.
Oh my gosh.
So what I am going to say is this is a real firearm. It works, it's everything, so treat it as such.
Yeah.
You familiar with how that works? Don't point this at people. Don't stab people. You understand? Okay.
This is heavy. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Is it heavy?
You take
It's a long
oh my
rifle, it's gotta
gosh.
be.
You
So these weapons work in kind of a few categories. Number one, you work by what's right here called a flintlock mechanism, where a piece of flint strikes into a lock or a hammer here. When this all happens correctly, when you pull the trigger, sparks.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so all that shower of sparks. What hopefully happens, keyword for us is going to be hopefully, I'm going to see
Yeah,
make sure all this works, is that when those sparks ignite there, it hits some powder, gunpowder you store right there in the pan, that hopefully travels through an itty bitty little pinhole right here, hopefully igniting the rest of the powder in here, which you have to pour all the way down the barrel, of course, and then your bullet hopefully goes off and travels towards the enemy. Slight downside about that whole process. Comparatively speaking to modern firearms, these things, yeah, well, none of that's going to work. Yeah. So, things are going to vary from situation to situation. If it's a rainy day, ooh, this just becomes a very, very unfortunate firearm. And being that powder gets wet, your gun won't go off. If it's raining, or if it's windy or anything, it won't go off either. This stuff can fly out. Or it will. You don't know. It could be a perfectly fine day like today, and this weapon won't work. Watch it. It's going to happen to me, I guarantee it. So, that's one of the issues with these things. There is another issue with it. It's smooth bore. Again, this is all from a modern perspective. 18th century perspective, this is the best stuff we got, right? Smooth bore here means there's no rifling inside of it, which means the bullet will go over there, somewhere. You can most likely hit a target reliably from 60 to 80 yards away, or within 100 really is our effective range for these things. So not useless. You can hit a target with them for sure. But we're kind of relying on different things in the 18th century. Think about it. You ever seen 18th century combat? How do we usually engage the enemy?
Straight line.
Straight
lines.
Straight lines. All right, now, be honest with me. What have y'all thought about that? Seem like a great idea?
Yeah, wonderful.
Wonderful.
Especially if you're in the first of the
I think
line.
by the tone of voice, yeah, I don't think it's really that
You'll hit
wonderful.
somebody in line, but maybe not the person in front of you.
Yeah.
That's very true. Well, hopefully by our little discussion, you'll think that, well, it actually is quite a great idea. Just think about it like this. If I'm alone with a weapon such as these, majority of weapons of soldiers, and I try to shoot that tree right there, what says I'm going to hit it?
Luck.
Luck, right? We're not really sure about any guarantees, are we? Well, shoot, let's think about all of us right here. If we all line up together in a line, 2 ranks deep, and we all fire that tree at the same time, what's going to happen to that tree?
Somebody's going to hit it.
Somebody's going to hit that tree. Well, that sounds a lot more effective, doesn't it?
Huh.
Well, here's the thing. What about if, you're shooting at a person and you see across, 100 yards of football field, 20 or 30, or scales of battle, 60, 80 to 500 guys all shoot at you at once. Now, are you just going to stand there and just let this come towards you? What are you going to do? I don't know, if you saw 20 guys shoot at you, what are you going to do?
Shoot back.
Yeah, if you stand firm and you're able to support, definitely. Then you get your buddies and you line, you go against them. Because 18th century combat is not really about inflicting the most casualties on the enemy. It's primarily about taking control of the battlefield through fear and intimidation. And that's where this thing comes in. Familiar with what this thing is?
Bayonet.
Yes, bayonet. Its primary purpose on the battlefield is to scare the opponent or to drive them from the field. Because here's what you do. You line up in your line, you have the enemy. You lay fire into them over and over and over and over again to weaken them, all until you see your opponent across the field, be afraid of you, begin to break whatever happens to be. You march at them, and everyone at once grabs their weapons and charges down with spears. Now, seeing a few hundred men charging, screaming, yelling at you with spears as smoke is flying around after the guy next to you has been shot, what are you thinking?
Let's get out of here.
Run. Exactly. Okay, let's say you were trying to defend something like that, I don't know, house down there, and you've now fled and run away from the enemy. Who controls that now? Yeah, you don't. You know we like to call that in the 18th century? Losing. So that's kind of how it works. So it's all about fear and intimidation really on the battlefield. You need massive fire with these weapons. So it makes sense? Alrighty. So we're gonna take a step back up here, gonna load this thing up and shoot it off for y'all.
So they didn't
Didn't they
put
say that it
powder
could
in
go
there
anyway?
when they walked, was that
Yes.
the last one?
They would only load it when they're about to go into combat or by command on the battlefield.
Okay.
I'll show you what all that looks like. Then I'll place right here. So we go through what's called a manual exercise, step-by-step process reloading these things. With the first command being half-cock, firelock. Bring this to a half-cock position, and I'll handle cartridge. I reach back into a cartridge box and seize one of these things, pre-made paper tubes full of gunpowder. Bring it out, bite my teeth, and I'll shake some gunpowder there in the pan. Then shut the pan, cast weapon about, then charge the cartridge. Pour the remainder of the charge down, then draw a rammer, use this motions, bring this thing out, then ram down cartridge. Pack everything in the breech, then return rammer, and then shoulder firelock. Now ready to go. Hopefully we'll go off. And if you're worried about noise, then I say make ready. It's time to cover your ears, so we'll do. Make ready! Okay! Now.
They're dead.
Yes. You notice, what did I say was probably going to happen to me? You know what just happened to me?
You got shot.
Exactly. So that's what we call like a misfire, which is always happy and fun to deal with. Now luckily I'm just dealing with this in front of y'all nice people, and I'm not dealing this while a few hundred enemy, dressed in scary uniforms are all shooting at me. So no pressure. No pressure at all. Just casually fix this, and there we go. I'm ready to go. Let's try again here. Ready? Take aim. Fire. Now, of course, on the battlefield, we're not going to go command by command like that. We'll do one command. Command being, private load. Proceed to do everything you just saw me do, except at a much more accelerated pace. Now think about this for a second. What's happening to me right now?
You're wide
Being
open.
shot at.
Exactly, I'm being shot at, so no pressure. No pressure at all. What's going to happen to my reload? Slow, faster?
Yeah.
Pretty messy.
Panic. That's why training is going to be very, very important. Drill is essential in the 18th century. So you make ready. Okay. Hey. I'm what we like to call unlucky. So you're going to see if this, try again, just pull that back to this. And there we go.